Jim Carrey was born on January 17, 1962, in Ontario, Canada. His father was a talented musician who struggled to provide financially. When Jim was a teenager, his father lost his job. The family became homeless for a period and lived in a van. They worked as janitors at a factory to survive. Carrey later said that if his career had failed, he might have ended up working in a steel mill in Hamilton. This wasn't Hollywood's struggle. This was real financial pressure, but even during hardship, Jim used humor as survival. He entertained classmates. He practiced impressions. Comedy became a coping mechanism. As a struggling stand-up comic in Los Angeles, Carrey wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered. He dated it for Thanksgiving 1995. He carried it in his wallet. At the time, he was unknown, performing at comedy clubs, bombing some nights, grinding through rejection. But the belief was there. The check became symbolic. Years later, after Dumb and Dumber, he reportedly earned around that figure. Visualization met execution. 3 films, a Ace Ventura pet detective, The Masked as Dumb and Dumber, all released in the same year. All became hits. Carrey's physical comedy style was explosive. Elastic expressions, high-energy performance, risk-taking. He became one of the most recognizable comedic actors in the world almost overnight. But critics were divided. Some saw genius, some saw exaggeration. The audience decided. Box office wins. Carrey wanted more than comedy. He starred in The Truman Show 1998, Man on the Moon 1999, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind 2004. These roles were dramatic, subtle, psychologically layered. He proved range. He was no longer just physical comedy. He was an actor. But fame came with internal pressure. Carrey has spoken publicly about depression and the emotional complexity of fame. He shifted toward painting and philosophical expression. He stepped away from constant Hollywood presence. From poverty to global comedy icon to introspective artist, his story is not just about success. It's about identity. By the mid-2000s, Jim Carrey had achieved something rare. He wasn't just famous. He was a brand. From Ace Ventura to Bruce Almighty, he had become one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. At one point, he reportedly earned $20 million per film, a number that had once seemed impossible when he was sleeping in a van with his family. But the energy that built his career came at a cost. Carrey's style wasn't subtle. It was explosive. Every interview expected energy. Every red carpet expected performance. Every public appearance expected Jim Carrey. And when a performer becomes the product, exhaustion follows. He began speaking openly about depression. Not sadness, depression. He described feeling disconnected from the persona the world projected onto him. In interviews, he started questioning identity itself. He said things like, "There is no me. There's just things happening." The industry saw a star. He saw a character he had been playing for decades. In 2011, after Yes Man and a few other commercial projects, Carrey's output slowed. He stepped back from constant Hollywood cycles. This wasn't collapse like Downey's. It was something different. It was existential. When you reach the top of comedy, and you realize it doesn't automatically bring peace, the next step becomes internal. For Carrey, success had solved poverty. It had not solved meaning. That realization reshaped the second half of his life. After stepping away from non-stop blockbuster work, Carrey leaned heavily into painting. Not casually. Intensely, he began creating large, politically charged and emotionally expressive artwork. In 2017, a short documentary titled I Needed Color was released, showing him painting in his studio. The world saw a different Jim Carrey, not elastic-faced comedian, not loud character, quiet, focused, introspective. He spoke about art as therapy. He spoke about detaching from ego. He questioned fame, identity, and success in philosophical interviews. At the same time, he returned to acting selectively. In 2020, he portrayed Dr. Robotnik in Sonic the Hedgehog. The performance reminded audiences of his physical comedy brilliance. But this time, it was controlled, experienced, strategic, not chasing relevance, choosing projects. He has publicly stated he may step away from acting, not out of failure, out of completion, from poverty to global comedy icon to reflective artist. Jim Carrey didn't just chase greatness, he outgrew it. In Canada, Stand Up Grind, 1994 explosion, dramatic reinvention, inner reflection. Jim Carrey's greatness was not only laughter, it was transformation.